Welcome. My name is Colleen Tauke and I'm the sewing specialist for Fons Porter. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Fons Porter's binding tool that will assist you in joining the ends of your binding and that last finisher on your quilt so that everything fits properly. So let's take a look at the tool itself. It's a rectangle. It has different markings along it for the different widths that popularly are used as the binding width. It varies from 2.5, 2 1/4, 2 inch, and 1 3/4. So those in the circle are notations of the width of the binding they're using. Most of our projects in the Fons Porter, we write for 2 1/4, a traditional width of a binding. The example I have here happens to be 2 1/2, trying to enlarge it a little bit so you can see even better. So we're going to be using the 2 1/2 inch mark here. It also has a marking that goes diagonally across the block, and I'll show you at what point we use that. Now, when we traditionally put binding on a quilt, and this is just a sample and you'll see breaks in it, I've just got it lined up so we can see the beginning and the end. When we go in to apply our binding, we always leave a tail, and when we come back around the other side, we also leave a tail, and we leave anywhere from 8 to 10 inches of an opening. Instead of getting really close together, we want enough room so we can kind of manipulate our quilt and join the ends of our binding properly. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay this in, and approximately somewhere in the middle of this space, we can then trim one piece of binding. And I'm just going to fold that back and give myself a little crease so that I can trim this piece. As long as it falls within about halfway mark somewhere between in that opening, then the other piece we're going to lay back over the top. We're going to use our binding tool, and we're going to lay it on. There's an arrow up, so we're measuring from this bottom edge up, and my binding is 2 1/2, so that means that when I bring this piece up, lay it on top of the tool, up to the 2 1/2 mark, and then I fold it back right at that 2 1/2 inch line. And I'm going to make a crease there. And that's my trimming spot. So now I've measured that from the cut edge of that first piece up, folded it back at the 2 1/2, and I'm going to trim this piece away. Now, what I need to do is I need to join these together, and what I want to do is join them with a diagonal seam, which allows the seam allowances to kind of be spread out, and I don't get that thick lumpy spot in my binding. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to take this piece, we're going to open it out right side up. Now this is the area where you started applying your binding. Now on the other side, this one needs to go right sides together, but you need to think about it like as if the binding was opened up already. This is kind of the trick here. Then if I open it, I'm going to bring right sides together. In a right angle, I'm sorry. There we go. Now, the trick here is that we're going to double check ourselves. I'm just going to pin this. I'm going to show you how that little twist in there will allow, I'm pinning like on a diagonal so I can test this, and you'll see that it's going to lay perfectly when we're done. Okay, so let's take that back out. I just want to repeat that part because that's the part where people get tripped up. So again, we're taking the part where we started applying our binding, we're opening it up so that we have right side up, like this. The other side, we're going to open it out like we're rolling it to the back. Then we're going to open up the binding, and we're going to place it here. Now, we're going to use the tool one more time, and we're going to lay it on the diagonal, and we've got edges matched up here. We're going to put the diagonal line right at the corner, and underneath there I can see that's the corner of the edge of my binding, and that's going to be the diagonal line that I'm going to mark so that I have something to stitch. So I'm marking along the edge of the tool here. Take it away. I'm going to put a couple of pins in because by the time if this was a large quilt, I have to drag this to my sewing machine. You know what's going to happen. Pieces are going to fly apart, and I'll never have it lined up again. the way I want, or I'll end up twisting something. So I've got that pinned so I can take that to the sewing machine. And using a 1/4 inch seam. And now you know why we leave an 8 to 10 inch space there, so that we can manipulate it when we get to the sewing machine. Okay, we're going to drop that down and we're going to stitch right on that marked line, that diagonal that we created. And you want to use that piecing length of stitch length so that it's a nice tight stitch. You don't want long stitches here because we're going to, our last little approach on the binding, we want that seamed well. Before we trim again, we're going to double check. Look how that lays in there perfectly. It just wants to pop right into place. I'm going to open that up so that I can trim away the excess and leave about a 1/4 inch seam allowance. You can take this to the iron if you'd like, but just for time here, I'm just going to finger press that seam allowance open, and perfect binding, lined up just the way you want it. So the Fons Porter tool, a great tool for finishing off your quilts like a pro. Thanks for joining me today.